What's up, Big Talk Nation? Melissa and Roger Adkins coming at you from Charlotte, North Carolina for our 4th episode of Melissa and Roger's Wildlife. We are tickled to have an opportunity to sit down with one of our favorite guitarists, Sam Bam, who we've seen tear up the stage with Faster Pussycat, Dorothy, and Budderside. Before we jump into our questions, though, we want to once again extend a huge heartfelt thank you to our buddies John and Jordan for giving us this incredible opportunity and for welcoming us into the Big Talk family.
Absolutely. So we're going to begin by giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself to any of our listeners who may not be as familiar with your resume. So if you will, just state your name, instrument, how long you've been with Faster Pussycat, and the other musical projects you're currently involved with that Melissa already alluded to.
My name is Tickled, and my name is Sam Koltun, or Sam Bam Koltun, and I've been with Faster Pussycat about 6 years. Actually, I just passed the 6-year mark with them. Dorothy for about 5. Budderside since like 2018. So I'm not good at math right now, but I think that's 7 years. And anybody else who comes up, anybody else who hires.
Love it. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. How old were you when you first began playing, and how long would you say it took you to become proficient?
Well, I started playing when I was 10, and then kind of started gigging probably when I was like 11 or 12. 12 for sure. How long till I was really kind of proficient? I guess I started doing gigs when I was about maybe 13 or 14 or so. Definitely 13 because I started with my first band. So I guess that's where it maybe kind of became proficient enough to play a set of songs. And then from there it just kind of progressed to starting to jam with, there were different open mic nights where I grew up, where I was able to go to the bars with my parents, and my parents were awesome to take me to the bars, and I could get up and play. At first it was with the band that I was in, but then started jamming with more of the other musicians and the adult musicians, and that's really what kind of got me more proficient in playing guitar, was having to learn different songs and then started gigging, doing various cover bands and whatnot.
Dude, that's awesome. Who were your greatest musical influences, and what specifically made you want to be in a band?
Musical influences, I guess, started with the guitar player that made me want to start playing guitar was a guy named Rafael Moreira, and he was on a TV show called Rockstar in Excess that happened 20 years ago. And that TV show with him playing in the house band is what made me want to start playing. So he's always been a big influence. As soon as I discovered Alice in Chains too, it just became all about Cantrell, and then Tony Iommi with Black Sabbath, and Glenn Tipton and KK Downing from Judas Priest, and a guitar player named Ed Mundell from Monster Magnet. Monster Magnet was a really influential band. What made me want to be in a band? I guess that was just kind of the vehicle for playing guitar in front of people. Was, I don't know, there wasn't really ever like I don't know if there was really ever a moment of like, oh, I want to be in a band, but it's like that was just kind of the next logical step of, I learned how to play guitar and then met some people and then kind of were like-minded somewhat on music and started jamming, and then that led to playing gigs and being a band.
Beautiful. How old were you when you attended your first concert, and who did you see?
I think I was 11, or I was still 10. I might have still been 10 years old. It was after that TV show, Rockstar in Excess. So, yeah, when I started playing, I guess I was 10 when I saw my first concert, because my first concert was In Excess with their new lead singer that they had found from that TV show. And that was it was in the following February, my birthday's in April, so it was right before I turned 11.
Okay.
Awesome. What was your favorite concert you attended, and what's the one band that you wish you had the opportunity to see?
Wish I had the opportunity to see. That's okay. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a minute.
Okay.
Favorite that I attended? Oh, that's tough too. I don't know. There's so many favorites for so many different reasons. I'll just give you the one that sticks in my mind the most recent, because it's not like it's a concert that I attended, but I happened to be there playing with Dorothy on the tour that we just did. We did a festival in Florida called Welcome to Rockville, and we played the same day as Green Day. And a friend at the festival gave me some passes to watch Green Day at Front of House, which is by their soundboard, and that is the best sounding live band I've ever heard in my life. That show, watching from that vantage point, I've seen Green Day once. I was a kid. It was like 2009, and saw them once at Jimmy Kimmel too, because I lived in Hollywood. So they would do those outside shows where they would film, the musical guests playing on their outside stage. But watching the Green Day show at Welcome to Rockville was the best sounding show I've ever seen. So that's what I'm probably going to go with my favorite. And a band that I wish I had the opportunity to see, I guess I'd say Sabbath back in the day, or I guess a band that's not really, if there's a band that's not really around anymore that I never got to see. I guess the original NXS, that's not to keep harping on that band, but that could be one. That's a really hard question. Alright, so I'm going to go...
We try.
I'm going to go with Sabbath from back in the day, or Judas Priest back in the day. Because I've seen Judas Priest many times, but never with the original two guitar players. So, I'll go with that.
All right. Who was your greatest supporter when you first stepped out into the world of entertainment?
My parents. Absolutely. Yeah.
What is the best and worst part about life on the road as an entertainer?
Ooh, that's... You sure? You sure you want to ask? I mean, the best part is getting to do what I've dreamt of doing my whole life. So getting to do that for a living and make a decent living doing it. And I'm very grateful that in the last couple of years I've had pretty consistent work. So very grateful for that. The worst part is having to leave home for a long time. We're at the beginning of July, and I've had about a total of I think it's maybe 12 days at home since the beginning of March into February. So I'm really looking forward to a little time at home. That's probably and when stuff happens, just all kinds of things happen on a daily basis, and it's trying to keep it positive, because there's always people that are really excited to see you. I should say, in a lot of cases, there are people that are, excited to see you, and it's just, trying to keep that positive energy up, even when there's 4-hour sound checks that beat you to death, and all those fun things that happen sometimes.
Sure. So what is the key to allowing your musical influences to shine through in your craft while simultaneously ensuring that you develop your own unique sound?
Yeah, I feel like watching people play, you're always kind of a combination of all your influences. There's certain people that you see where it's it shows through more obviously. I don't know if it shows through obviously for me. I don't know. It's hard for me to look at myself in that way, but there's, little things where it's oh, that guy definitely likes Jimmy Page, or oh, that guy really likes Zakk Wylde. Little things like that. But I feel like all the influences, not that that's a bad thing either. It's just, I'll be the first to tell you my favorite guitar players, and I feel like there's little things that come through just from loving. I love how Vivian Campbell plays, so there's definitely things in my guitar playing that I try to do because it's oh, I like what that sounds like, so and hopefully you end up kind of just naturally developing your own sound from being, having all those combined influences. I don't really know. I hope that was okay.
It makes sense.
That's great.
What's your favorite song to play live and why?
It's different with each band to band. Mm-hmm. Band to band, it's different. With Budderside, I think my favorite song to play. Oh wow, that's really hard because I like them all. I like 1,000 Teardrops because it's really hard, and I made the riff pretty hard. With Faster, right now it's Motorbike or a song from the second album, Wake Me When It's Over. It's called Ain't No Way Around It. That's always like, once we get to that song, I'm like, I love it. And Dorothy, it's always Down to the Bottom, or on the newer record, which I was very grateful to be able to play on. I really like playing the song Bones, and really like playing her song Tombstone Town. Yeah, so Down to the Bottom, Bones, and Tombstone Town. But really, I like the whole Dorothy set, so it's hard for me to pick.
Fair enough. In any group you've been affiliated with, have there been any songs that you've played for an audience and the reaction wasn't quite what you expected? Like in terms of it being a bigger hit than anticipated, or maybe receiving an underwhelming reaction to a song you really loved performing?
I don't know. When I'm on stage, I don't wear my glasses. I wear glasses normally in normal life. So I can't really see what I can't see any expressions really anyway, so I don't really know.
That was a bad question for him.
But as far
That's why I wear the orange hat.
As far as hearing yes, you're easy to spot. As far as like hearing a reaction, it just kind of depends. Some rooms are weird too, because other nights there'll be people be so loud and cheering, and then there's other nights where it's like they'll kind of cheer for a second and then it'll die down, and then it's like awkward, and it's like, okay, let's go. Jack, count off the song. And it's like waiting for him to count off the song feels like 10 minutes, even though it was 10 seconds. Yeah.
What routines, tips, tricks, special secrets do you swear by to help you stay at the top of your game?
Sleeping as much as possible. I don't really have any routine, like guitar routines. I don't have.
Okay.
I don't really. Yeah.
All muscle memory at this point, huh?
Basically, yeah. When I'm working towards something, I'll spend a bunch of time on it. I'll just try to listen to music, listen to the songs that I'm supposed to play as much as possible. I mean, at this point, the Dorothy and Pussycat stuff feels like so second nature that I basically, and I've tested this theory that I can go from being on tour with another band for 4 or 5 consecutive weeks and then go back to playing a Dorothy or a Pussycat set and do it without going over anything and be fine. So
that's incredible.
That's a theory that I tested about a couple months ago, and luckily it went fine. But it was a little bit of a science experiment.
Gotcha. What is the secret to becoming fully comfortable and confident in front of an audience?
I still don't know. Still trying to figure it out. Yeah, because there's different things. It's just like different. Every night is different. Every venue and stage setup and everything's different. So certain ones, for me personally, feel more comfortable, and other times it takes a while to kind of get into it or feel comfortable. And I mean, pretty much I'm always really comfortable as long as I have a guitar on. So once the guitar's off is what's the problem.
Gotcha. Have you played any locations or venues that particularly stood out to you and became a favorite, or do they all more or less just blur together now?
No, I remember a lot of things. There's definitely, in the U.S., there's venues like the Machine Shop that just stand out as killer, just because the people that work at that place care so much. And then there's other places that you roll in where you just feel like people just don't really care. Not to name any names or any places. I can't even really think of any right off the top of my head, but definitely like the Machine Shop is really, really cool. Getting to play the London Apollo was pretty incredible. Getting to play New York City anytime makes me really excited. Playing Seattle anytime makes me really excited. Playing at home in LA or in St. Louis pretty much anytime gets me excited also.
Love it. What would you say are the most crucial components that go into a song that elicit an emotional response that's felt rather than something that's just simply heard?
I guess definitely the lyrics are probably the most important thing, even though for me also it's like the music and the melody of things. For me it's just always, I'm attracted to a riff, I guess, first. Mm-hmm. That's what really draws me in with anything that I'm listening to. But definitely for the emotional response, it's more of a lyrical thing, and that's something that would be more of like what I feel is more of the singer's department, since I've tried to write lyrics, but it hasn't really, nothing's made the cut so far, let's say. So.
Okay.
Did you ever become discouraged as an artist due to certain trends or other aspects of the entertainment industry? And if so, what made you push through and continue performing?
There's always little things here and there that are discouraging, and you just kind of have to push past it. So at some point, yeah, there definitely was, prior to joining Pussycat, being that guy that was looking for the opportunity to work more and do this more as a living kind of thing, and and there's definitely little things that got discouraging there, but was able to push past it, and now it's at a point where grateful to have a few different things that keep me busy and working. So
absolutely, you certainly are busy. What would you say is the reason that music has the ability to unify such a diverse group of people while most other aspects of life tend to cause divide?
I think it's just because it's something that everybody can agree on, even though music's subjective. So what I like is not exactly what just with Faster Pussycat, what I like isn't necessarily what Danny or Tammy likes, and what Danny and Tammy like aren't necessarily what I like. But there's always kind of things that you can find and appreciate about other people's tastes and stuff. So there's obviously, you can argue about anything, but I think that's kind of the big thing, is that there's something that you can probably find or connect with in some way.
Okay. What would you say the biggest obstacle that you've faced over the course of your career, and how did you overcome it?
Biggest obstacle is probably just figuring out how to be in two places at once. That's probably I don't know, I'm sure there was more kind of like early on and whatnot, but just what's coming to me just right off where my head went to the question first is just like figuring out little obstacles like that, like, oh, I need to play a Dorothy show, but Pussycat's playing, or like having to figure out how to shift the schedule and make the schedules work.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So this is going to sound kind of like a odd question, but it's made for some funny stories in our previous interviews. Have you ever been injured on stage?
No, I broke my finger once before. I was moving, and I broke my finger before a 6-week Dorothy tour. And with Dorothy, most of the time, there's been times where there's been a second guitar player, but 98% of the time since I've been with her, I'm the only guitar player. And so I broke my middle finger on my left hand, which is the hand that I play the guitar with. And with Dorothy, I have to solo a lot. And I really had a hard time doing that without being able to use my middle finger. So that was really that's the only time I've been injured. I mean, I've fallen on stage too, a couple times. There's one time where on this tour, I went back to. I feel bad. I'm always hard on Chad. I went back to ask Chad like what happened on something, and then I like tripped up the drum riser, and I almost fell, but I didn't. But I turned around just like, oh, did anybody see that? I don't think so.
Oh, great. What's your proudest moment as an artist?
Proudest moment, I guess, is like a recurring thing is when there's a song that comes out. Kind of for me, that's like getting to contribute to playing on the new Faster Pussycat stuff, getting to contribute to play on the new Dorothy stuff, or having that Budderside record come out last year, the White Flame record, where it's a lot of the music that I wrote. We all wrote together, but, you know, having so many of those things be like, you know, the riffs that I sat in my room trying to work on and write at 3 or 4 in the morning, and those are the things that, you know, I guess make me feel the proudest. The gigs are really, really fun too, but it's just that music getting put out that is, you know, the physical, like, legacy things. Like the legacy, you're gonna, you know, if I suddenly couldn't play guitar tomorrow, you know, there's a few things that I played on that people can listen to.
Awesome. What advice or recommendations do you have for aspiring artists attempting to make it in the industry today, particularly those who are unsure of the best way to get started or put themselves out there?
It's going to probably sound cheesy, but keep an open mind to things. You know, it's every avenue can be a lily pad to something else. So everything that I feel like I've done so far, not that I've done a ton, but everything I feel like I've done has led to something else. So playing with this singer, playing in the first band that I started playing with in LA led to me playing with a singer named Gabby Ray. Playing with a singer named Gabby Ray led to me playing with a band called Knee High Fox. Playing with Knee High Fox got me on tour quite a bit more, and then that led to kind of becoming better friends with my friend Ace Vaughn Johnson, and then that led to Faster Pussycat. Ace and Faster Pussycat also kind of, and playing with another friend, Elliot, led to Dorothy. Dorothy and some other things led to other things, so just anything can be a lily pad to something else. And then also for anybody kind of starting to play, I think it's really important to learn the stuff that you like to play and learn other stuff that you don't like to play, and learn things that are different styles, because you can pick stuff up from all kinds of music.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. What is one thing about your bands that you would like more of your fans to know?
One thing about them.
Or 2 things, whatever.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. 2's harder to think of than 1. I don't know. Something I'd like them to know about them.
Are they fun to hang out with on the road?
Different situations. Dorothy, I have a really great time hanging with all the guys, and her as well on the road. The hang is really, really cool. Those guys, I feel like I leave those situations after a tour or even after one show. I feel like a better me after I'm in those situations with them, because they're all just such great musicians and great players that it pushes me harder. Not that other situations don't, but that's the situation where I feel pushed the most to be able to you know, it's, and not that Faster isn't, it's just, it's a different thing, kind of, with, you know, a couple of the guys like to go out and drink and party, and that's just not my my thing at all. So, yeah, I guess that's an answer.
That's a great answer. Fair enough. Yes.
And I'm not, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just me personally. I've never drank and never partied, so that's, where I feel, I don't always want to go out and hang. Sometimes I do, and sometimes it's fun. So there's that too. I got long-winded.
That's all good.
It's a lot of good information, though.
What is the best way you've found to diffuse conflict with bandmates, crew personnel, venue staff, or anyone else in situations where tensions are running high?
Ooh, pass.
He pleads the fifth. Okay.
It involves drinking and drugs.
Yeah, pass on that one.
Alrighty. What elements would you say are key to a lasting, successful musical career?
Finding a way to navigate the last question.
Using the pass card works. Got it.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to say specifically for Faster Pussycat, since we're at a Faster Pussycat show this evening, but you can also answer for Budderside and Dorothy as well. But who is the biggest joker or prankster of the bunch?
Danny. With Faster Pussycat. With Dorothy, it's Elliot. He is constantly making jokes and puns. And with Budderside, it's kind of all of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody has a role to play.
What is one main impression that you want to leave your fans with and hope will always be part of your musical legacy?
I just hope that, again, despite some days out here being harder than others, I hope that just in general people view me as a nice guy, because I feel like I'm a nice guy, and yeah, that's kind of what matters the most to me. Wait, what was the question?
Just what main impression you want to leave your fans with and hope will be part of your legacy. So that's a fair enough answer.
Hopefully that, and
We think you're a nice guy.
yeah, we can attest to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That, and that I really like playing guitar.
Love it. Beautiful. Any additional fun facts about you or stories you would like to share, or any recommendations you have for us concerning additions that we must include on our concert bucket list?
Well, you just saw the Lonely Ones, and they're my new favorite band, so there's that. What was the first part of it?
Any additional fun facts or stories, just anything else you want to share about you?
Facts or stories? I'm going to think of one at like 4 o'clock in the morning tonight, and it's going to wake me up, and then I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. I was awake, actually. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning last night thinking about the guitar that I just bought a couple days ago, because I bought this guitar, and it's a white Les Paul Custom, and I've been looking for one for a while, and I really, really dig this guitar. And it's a good weight and all these things. And I plugged it in the first show that I got, the night that I got it, and it had a thing with the pickup. Pickup was kind of squealy. I replaced pretty much the pickups in all the guitars that I play, and I have a pickup with a company that's called Pariah, and the guy makes them, and I love them. But I was thinking about the guitar last night, and I was like, oh, what if I take the pickup cover off the guitar? This is what woke me up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, what if I take the pickup cover off, because then maybe that'll stop the squealing, and then maybe I can at least play the guitar for the last bit of the tour. And that's what I walked in the venue today and did, and one of our people who were there for the VIP was very kind to help me with soldering or unsoldering the cover from the pickup. You asked for a fun fact. This is a fun fact today. And now I'm going to play the guitar, and now I'm stoked. So
That's awesome.
Love it.
yeah.
Thank you so much for taking your time to sit down with us today and talk. We really appreciate it, and be sure to check out all of Sam Bam's upcoming tour dates with his various musical acts to see where you can catch this amazingly talented guy in 2025. We promise you can't go wrong regardless of which band you see, and Sam's performance is always one you don't want to miss.
Absolutely. And thank you as always to all of our listeners tuning in today for this episode of Melissa and Roger's Wildlife. We hope you'll join us again soon. Be safe out there and remember to be excellent to each other. Much love to you all. See you next time.
And these two are very, very, very cool. I like these two people a lot. They're awesome.
Well, we thank you for that
Thank
shout
you.
out, Sam. Love you.
Love you.